Feisal Mohamed is professor of English at Yale and has been a member of our University Advisory Council since 2023. Feisal recently led New Haven Teachers Institute and national seminars on poetry as sound and object. In 2026, he will return to lead a new seminar on resistance from Aristotle to Star Wars. Feisal, we're eager to hear more about it.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning. So good to see you all, familiar faces and new ones. I find there's a certain running theme across many of these seminars. Clearly, I've been worrying about the same things as my Yale colleagues and many of the same things that you all have been worrying about, I'm sure. So let's start with Star Wars. And see if we make our way to Aristotle. You'll immediately recognize the opening crawl of the first film, or Episode 4 in Star Wars speak, which sets the tone of a period of civil war in which rebel spaceships striking from a hidden base have won their first victory against the evil galactic empire. The word evil makes it clear from the start that we should not be rooting for empire. But especially in an American context, the word rebel is not without ambiguity. George Lucas's original text for the opening crawl more fully captures the spirit of the film. It is a period of civil wars in the galaxy. A brave alliance of underground freedom fighters has challenged the tyranny and oppression of the awesome galactic empire. To crush the rebellion once and for all, the Empire is constructing a sinister new battle station, powerful enough to destroy an entire planet. Its completion spells certain doom for the champions of freedom. You'll notice the source there is Wikipedia. I couldn't make that up. That's an actual website. Lucas's friend Brian De Palma thought this too heavy and verbose a start for a movie driven by action. At his urging, the opening crawl was streamlined, and phrases about underground freedom fighters challenging tyranny and oppression were removed. Rather than the completion of the Death Star spelling certain doom for the champions of freedom, the version by De Palma used in the film has Princess Leia racing home to save her people and restore freedom to the galaxy. The political dynamics behind the sense of urgency and threat are much more explicit in Lucas's original, and the courage of those taking up the cause of freedom against tyranny is much more strongly emphasized. Even though those sentiments are cut from the opening crawl, they're clear enough in the film itself. Born in 1944, Lucas's ideas of tyranny are clearly informed by 20th century totalitarianism, and by Nazism in particular. The endless, menacingly uniform rows of soldiers at the Empire's command are named significantly stormtroopers, a term applied to German shock troops in the First World War, but most often associated with the SA of the Second World War. The expansion of this empire must be checked, and the possibility of the Death Star seems to reflect the wartime fear of the Nazis developing a bomb. But the Star Wars formula is malleable. When we return to the saga with the 1999 release of Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, we learn that the prelude to the rise of the evil empire is a republic where greed has run amok. Now the crawl tells us that turmoil has engulfed the Galactic Republic because the taxation of trade routes is in dispute, and the greedy Trade Federation has stopped all shipping to the small planet of Naboo. Unequal to this challenge, the Congress of the Republic endlessly debates this alarming chain of events. In some ways, we have here a thumbnail version of very long and broad traditions of thought around the question of tyranny. Republican order promises to spread political agency through the body politic. This creates a persistent fear that power will become concentrated in the hands of a powerful few who will rule in their own interests rather than in the interests of the people as a whole. Or, worse still, in the hands of a single ruler whose entire aim is to perpetuate his own rule and who is entirely willing to war against the people to do so. Such a ruler, of course, is termed a tyrant. And here is where we will bring in Aristotle, who is very clear-sighted, not only on what a tyrant is, but on the harms that tyrants impose. A tyrant ignores public interest and pursues only private gain. He uses his power in violation of the law. He surrounds himself with sycophants and lackeys and does his best to destroy individuals who show potential for public-spirited political leadership. The tyrant destroys all social bonds that might produce fellow feeling and collaboration. So any kind of association where people develop familiarity and mutual trust must be demolished. He prohibits public meals, bans clubs and societies, is hostile to schools and colleges, causes quarrels between friends, and breeds conflict amongst the various classes of society. He keeps the people poor so that they are too busy scouring for means of survival to try to organize plots and rebellions. He makes people busier still by stirring up pointless wars with phantom enemies, requiring large investments of public attention and resources and submission to military leaders. Aristotle's insights reach across time, and the seminar will see how later thought returns to them, and also how the terms of tyranny and of resistance are adapted to immediate political needs. So we will read, among other things, tragedies like Sophocles' Antigone and Milton's Samson Agonistes. We will also bring anti-tyranny into conversation with anti-slavery and anti-capitalism through such texts as David Walker's Appeal to the Colored Citizen of the World, C.L.R. James's Tragedy on the Haitian Revolution, Toussaint Louverture, and the recent manifesto of the Red Nation Collective growing out of indigenous environmental justice movements, the Red Deal. And of course, as always with these seminars, I always welcome whatever text teachers themselves want to bring in, especially to make the theme of the seminar appeal across grades in K through 12. I've tried to make some effort in that vein with Star Wars. Hunger Games, perhaps, might also be brought in. But of course, there are other texts and ideas that people use in their classrooms that we might discuss and develop further still. So I do hope to see some of you in the seminar room this summer. Thank you.